About retiring to the great state of North Dakota? Well, you've come to the right place because here at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, we're going to tell you exactly how North Dakota taxes retirees. So you don't want to miss this for sure if North Dakota is on your horizon. Welcome, my friends, to the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, the place where we tell you how North Dakota taxes retirees as well as every other state in the union. 50 states in all. We talk about them all here at the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, and there's some surprises in there. So if you're interested in a place to relocate, or if you think about retiring in the place you're currently living in and you want to know more, just look it up. I got a whole playlist, and right now we're going to talk about North Carolina. So let's dive right into it. North Carolina, North Dakota just did North Carolina. So let's dive right into it, my friends. And as we typically do, we start with Kiplinger's. And North Dakota, light green. We like to see that. I like to see light green. And his friendly neighbor to the south is dark green. So North Dakota's got some explaining to do why they're a little bit less tax friendly than its friendly neighbor to the south, South Dakota. But let's take a gander. The Peace Garden State doesn't do much on behalf of retirees, says the good folks at Kiplinger's. While some property tax breaks are available to those over 65, that's who we're targeting here, North Dakota is in the minority of states that tax at least some portion of Social Security benefits. And it offers no tax breaks for retirement income. And yet income taxes are so low that North Dakota ends up being quite tax friendly for retirees. So that's interesting there. But they don't tax Social Security. They tax some part of Social Security, but they don't give you any breaks for IRAs and whatnot. But yeah, because they have such a low income tax rate, it's basically almost like you're not paying much. So let's find out. They do have a 5% state sales tax levy. Localities can add as much as 3.5%, and the combined average rate is 6.78, which is pretty low. New farm machinery attachments, or new irrigation equipment used exclusively for agricultural purposes is taxed at the state at 3%. So I wonder if I have a drip line irrigation thing out there with, let's just say, a rainwater catchment system that's used for agricultural purposes to grow some of my own tomatoes and whatnot. I wonder if I could say that should be only taxed at 3%. I don't know, but it'd be something to dive into if that's what you're thinking about. You get a greenhouse up there in North Dakota. You're not going to be growing anything in the winter, but you certainly get a greenhouse. That might be something to think about. The income tax is low here. So basically 1.1 on up to 37,950 for taxable income for singles, 63,000 for married couples filing jointly. And I just always got to know the difference between taxable income and gross income. So if we have 63,400 of taxable income in the great state of North Dakota, and we're married and we're over the age of 65, we got to add our 26,600 to standard deductions. That means we won't pay any tax until we hit $90,000 of gross income. And you're not even going to pay the highest amount until you hit right here, taxable. So you're talking pretty significant amount of money before you pay any tax. Effective income tax rate is 1.1 for singles, 1.5 for married, basically. Social Security benefits are taxed to the same extent as they are on the federal tax return, which is minimal. North Dakota does not offer any retirement income tax breaks for seniors, except for railroad retirement incomes exempt. Everything else taxes ordinary income rates, which is actually pretty low. And I imagine most people aren't going to be hit with any taxes whatsoever. Actually, I'm surprised. The median home value in North Carolina is a little bit higher than I would have thought. North Dakota, 155,400, and its property tax on that is 1,700, so it's more than 1%. I suppose that about 1.15 or so. A homestead tax credit is available to seniors 65 or older. For married couples, only one spouse may apply for the credit. Your income plus the income of your spouse and any dependents may not exceed $42,000 for the calendar year preceding the assessment date. Your assets cannot exceed $500,000, including your home's market value, and any assets gifted or divested within 3 years. And what if that includes retirement accounts? The size of the credit depends on your income. The maximum homestead credit is $4,500. That's a credit of taxable value for those with incomes of $22,000 or less. It's going to be hard to get that. And they charge a 5% excise tax due on all purchases for vehicles, and they don't have an inheritance or estate tax. So I'm basically saying there's not much of a homestead exemption. So just, again, put comments down below if you're familiar with this and disagree. That's fine, or if you can confirm it. Either way. Top individual tax rate is 2.9. The total burden is 9% when you factor in everything the state charges you on tax, and that ranks them in the bottom third of overall states in the union for tax burden. State sales tax is 5. When you factor in what the localities can do, they're smack dab in the middle. They're 6.8. They don't tax cigarettes much, and not much of a gas tax either. But they still on. They're not the lowest, but bordering the lowest, that's for sure. Property taxes looked like a little bit high, 1%, which the percentage ranks them right smack dab in the middle of the U.S. And their property tax calculation, because they're actually home values a little bit more expensive than what I would have thought, would have put them actually in the that's actually lower. Lower than what the 1% would indicate. So that's good. I guess they're not nearly as high as the average home in the United States. That's good. So property tax, when you actually look at the dollar amount, ranks 30 in terms of the actual dollars that get paid to the state, as opposed to 24 ranking on the actual percentage. All right, so let's go to smart income, because this is pretty interesting for retirement income for sure. So we're going to start, make sure we're in North Dakota. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yep, and we're not, okay, good. So let's start $25,000 of Social Security, $25,000. We're going to do retirement income. That shouldn't be any tax, right? Married filing jointly. All right. So why are we paying tax there? If I thought they give you $90,000 credit, income tax, you have to have up to $63,000 taxable income for married filing jointly before you're even in the 1.1%. On up to. Okay, so it's on up to. So you're going to be in the 1% bracket until you hit, bear with me just a second. Let's see what the brackets look like here, my friends. Okay. So it's 1.1 up to, I gotcha. So they are going to tax the first penny you make. Okay, it still is pretty low. But let's look at, so basically on $50,000, you pay $73 of income tax. Let's do $50,000 Social Security and $50,000 of IRA. It should be a little bit more. Yeah, $674,000. $674 on $100,000 of pre-tax income. I'm not going to gripe about that. That's for sure. The feds pay $6,600 in that regard, and the state's only $674. I'm not going to jump up now, scream and holler a couple $100 in taxes on $100,000 in income, even though they do tax part of your Social Security. That's something to consider for sure. Withdrawal, everything's taxed. That's just a fact. But again, it's low at 1.1, but it is on the first dollar. The fourth lowest population density of any state. Do you know what the lowest is? I don't imagine it's Wyoming, but it might be Alaska. Actually, it's probably got to be Alaska. I think Wyoming's only got like 600, 700,000 people. If you plan on settling down the state permanently for retirement, you'll have plenty of chances to see the Rough Rider state, but you also need to pay the North Dakota retirement taxes, which again are pretty minimal for sure. I got to say North Dakota is actually pretty tax friendly. That's a fact. Their highest tax rate is just 2.9%, and you got to make some serious scratch to get there. Social Security is taxable, as we talked about, but it's just not a significant thing. How high are property taxes? We talked about that. Most North Dakotans pay less than $2,000 a year in property tax, which is fantastic. Homestead credit, we did talk about that. It's going to be hard to get. Sales tax is not low, but it's not high. It's pretty much smack dab in the middle. The average total rate is 6.78, so you're not going to get hammered there. So no estate or inheritance tax. Oh, it does have an estate tax. I don't see that in here, did I? Oh, no. Kiplinger said there isn't any. Smart Asset says there is one, but it's tied to the Fed. So, all right. Well, either way, if you have your exemption is 11.2 million. So if you have more than that, it looks like you do have a little bit of an estate, but I don't know that to be true. All right. At the end of the day, North Carolina is pretty friendly. No other North Dakota. Sorry, guys. I just did North Carolina. I got that on the brain for some. I guess because I'm wearing light blue. I don't know. North Dakota is pretty friendly when it comes to tax haven for retirees, even though they tax Social Security. Don't let that dissuade you. Before you retire and you're looking at states that tax or don't tax, various things. You got to understand, what their exclusions are, what their income tax rates. I mean, if you're paying $674 in taxes on $100,000 to North Dakota, you're in pretty good shape, especially with moderately low property taxes and sales tax too. All right, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified of future content. And don't forget to go to the blog at heritagewealthplanning.com, heritagewealthplanning.com. And we'll see you next time on the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.